Imagine you are walking down the street and you find a bag containing $750,000. What would you do with it? Would you return it, or would you go out and start spending it? But then you wake up. You check your jeans, and instead of a fortune, you find an empty pocket. The money is not real. When we want to talk about this exact gap, the space between our current reality and an impossible dream, we use a specific grammatical structure called the second conditional. The second conditional has two parts: if plus a past simple verb, then the subject, would, and the base verb. Let's map our dream. If I found $750,000, I would buy nice clothes. Found is the condition. Would buy is the result. Mastering this pattern provides the baseline to discuss unlikely scenarios in the present or the future. Here is a standard timeline graphic. If you look closely, you will spot a point of friction. We use the past tense found for a present or future dream. In the second conditional, the past tense does not equal past time. As the word moves over, we apply the distance rule. The past tense creates distance from reality. By choosing to say found instead of find, you're signaling to the listener that you do not actually have the money in your hands right now. Past tense vocabulary in these specific sentences creates a fake present. Look at this portrait of Hillary Clinton. As a political candidate, she has a real opportunity to win, making realistic promises using the first conditional. On the left side of the screen, we see the first conditional in action. If I become president, I will reduce taxes. The present tense become and the future will show this is highly possible. Now look at the right side. If an ordinary student dreams about the future, it is hypothetical. They use the second conditional. If I became president, I would reduce taxes. Your choice between the first and second conditional depends entirely on how realistic you believe the situation to be. There is one major exception with the verb to be. For the second conditional, we use the subjunctive mood. As the graphic shows, if I was you is incorrect. We change it to if I were you, a phrase we use constantly to give advice. You can also adjust the result clause. Using would implies certainty, but if you swap it out, you change the scenario. He might win shows uncertainty. Maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. He could win indicates the physical ability to do it. Let's test this. Read the medical predicament on screen. Pause the video, fill in the blanks using the rules we just covered, and wait for the timer. The correct sentence is, for Portuguese speakers, translating directly in your head creates a few specific traps that break this grammatical structure. First, never put would inside the condition clause. The red text on screen, if I would have money, is a direct translation error. The green text shows the correct form, if I had money. Second, watch your result verbs. Would translates to faria, the intention to do something. Could translates to poderia, the ability to do it. Keep their definitions separate so you do not swap them by mistake. Correcting these errors makes your speech fluid and prevents the listener from getting lost in translation. Here is a final color-coded summary graphic. It contains the condition structure, the result options, and the were exception. Take a screenshot of this cheat sheet now to save for your future studies. You have the structural foundation to express unlikely present situations and future dreams. Thanks for watching.